Hey, I'm training to be a championship cuber and documenting the process. If you're new here, every single week I make a specific training plan for how I'm going to work on Rubik's Cubes. I log all of it in my website, then I review the training I did last week and make a plan for how I'm going to train better the next week, toward my ultimate goal of making the final round at a major championship for every event from 3x3 up to 7x7 sometime within the next 5 years. So today I'm going to go over my last 2 weeks. I was sick and traveling some, and talk a little bit about how I'm going to be training next. I'm intentionally leaving this vague because I'm about to explain it in like 2 slides. My next competition is on Saturday. I've got 3x3 and 5x5. I'm really looking forward to it because I love 5x5. I'm sponsored by thecubicle.com. If you need speed cubes, use code TRUE at checkout for 5% off, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so short version of this video, because a lot of people are going to click away after this, and I want you guys to get the information and not draw conclusions before getting all the way to the end. I do not think that I, 1, am cut out for the major finals in 3x3, and 2, I don't think I would enjoy the grind to get there regardless of that. I love cubing, and I love making content. So instead of training for the major finals in 3 through 7, I'm going to train an event for 8 weeks, then do another one until I cycle through all the WCA events. So work on all rounding, not to train for ultimate competitiveness, but to train because I love it. And I think this lines up with my life and values better. I will explain all of that in detail in the rest of this video. So if you want to understand why I'm doing this, keep watching. If you don't, that's totally fine. I make these videos to help me think and because a few people enjoy them. If you want to help me decide on which event I should train first, I will leave a link to a poll in the description, and I will let my audience vote on which WCA event I should do my first 8-week training sprint for. I'm going to start that next week. So that's the short version. I'm not going to try to push for major finals. I'm going to cube because I want to enjoy training and being and learning lots of more skills. So how did I get to this point? Well, over the last 2 weeks, I got really sick for a week, which is why there was no video like this last week. And then last week, my wife and I went on a little trip to Disneyland with my family. So I really only had like 3 days of health in the last 2 weeks. I had 2 coaching sessions last week. I had a coaching session with Dylan Miller for 3x3 and a coaching session with Jack Pfeiffer for big cubes, 5x5 specifically. And I didn't practice as much, obviously. Over the last month, I've had a bunch of ideas percolating in my head, but the coaching sessions and the break week really helped me crystallize these thoughts to the point where I felt like it was a good time to make this video. In order to understand why I think that it's a good idea to not shoot for major finals, I need to think about why I started by aiming for major finals in cubing. I had 3 main buckets of reasons that I wrote down in my journal for why I wanted to train really hard for 5 years. The first category was what I would now see as selfish reasons. These are things that I, Brandon, want. I don't think selfish is a morally negative term. It just means that they're benefits that are only going to help me. They're not going to roll over to other people. The first one was I wanted to finally win something. The feeling of winning is likely the single biggest driver in my person, and I thought I could get that feeling from cubing. The second selfish reason is I thought I would enjoy the grind of training. The same way that I enjoy the grind of going to the gym and lifting weights, I thought I would enjoy the grind of sitting down with the cube and solving for hours every day. The next category is life reasons. So these things are, if I work on cubing, having an outlet like cubing will help me be better at working on my business. Having an outlet like cubing will help me be more present when I'm with my wife instead of having this pent-up energy that I want to go spend on something else. It will give me a fun thing that I can use as an outlet to fuel the rest of my life. And so my theory was, if I have something that I'm working really hard toward over here, it will help me work harder toward other things in other areas of my life. And then there were things about the cubing community. I really love the cubing community. It's done a lot for me through my life, and I wanted to add my own spin of content into the community and bring exposure to a variety of cubers who are really good at what they do, but don't get a podcast or a platform to show themselves. So I started my little podcast, which has been really fun because I've given a platform to a variety of cubers. It's picking up some steam, and I have some cool interviews coming up. So how do these reasons hold up now that I've been doing this for a few months? These were all things that I thought cubing would give me when I started. But now that I've actually been doing it, I have a better read on if these things are true or not. The selfish reasons I think are both incorrect. I think that based on my rate of improvement, I am not innately talented enough to compete at the highest level of 3x3. I think I could get to a reasonably high level at big cubes. However, the highest of high levels at that is just so many orders of magnitude better than where I think I'm genetically capable of getting, that even if I could get to major finals in big cubes, there's absolutely no way that I'm touching the best people in the world at it. So if I'm chasing the feeling of being really excellent, cubing is not the best place for me to get that feeling. I've also found out that I don't enjoy the grind of cubing as much as I thought it would. There was a lot of novelty for the first 3 months, and around months 4 and 5, the act of pure solves is not something that brings me a lot of joy. That is not true for other things in my life. I still enjoy the feeling of sitting down at a coffee shop and writing code, or working on a business project, or going to the gym and lifting weights. There are some grinds in life that I still get energy out of, but the 3 to 4 hours of cubing grind a day isn't doing that. So these 2 reasons that I started working on cubing are no longer true. Under the broader life reasons, I thought that if I had this outlet of cubing in a serious regimented fashion, it would help me work on business and marriage and other aspects of my life with more energy. Release in one area gives me focus in other areas. But the opposite has actually been true. The pursuit of excellence in cubing has actually caused me to work less hard on business because I'm spending hours and mental compute cycles and emotional energy on cubing instead of on other things in my life that I prioritize more highly. I will come back to that idea in a second. The community reasons, I think, have actually been a massive success. A lot of people have given me great feedback about the content that I've been making in person at competitions, in DMs, via email. And the podcast has been a great success in getting a variety of cubers from well-known names to less-known names online and just having conversation with them, meeting people. So those have been fantastic. So how did I draw these conclusions? Well, the first thing I've noticed over the last 5 months is that I've improved very, very slowly. A lot of people have kind of jokingly called me delusional, but there's a degree to which that's not joking, that's just true. I am still not sub 10 after 5 months of focusing pretty intensely on solving 3x3. That's really bad. Really, really bad. This isn't because of a lack of practice time. You can see all the practice I put in on my website. It's not because of a lack of focus in my practice. It's not because of a lack of coaching. I've gotten the coaching, I've applied focused work, and I have improved, to be clear. But it's not at the rate that I would need to if I want this to work over the next 5 years. I don't think it's a lack of work. I think it is a lack of talent. I don't think it's a lack of talent such that I couldn't get to, say, the top 100 in 3x3, but I do think it's a lack of talent if I want to get to the top, say, 50 or top 20. I don't think I can do that, no matter how hard I try. So I'm improving too slowly based on my current run rate to reasonably expect to get to a high level. And in my coaching sessions with Jack Pfeiffer and Dylan Miller this last week, it became really obvious to me just how good those top guys are. Jack told me he practices something like 4 hours a day, consistently, just on big cubes. And while he's an exceptionally good big cube solver, he's not Max Park or Nam or Timon, right? He's near the high level, practicing 4+ hours a day. Dylan has talked to me several times just about how difficult it is to get to the highest level of 3x3, and he feels a little bit defeated at times. He loves 3x3, he is progressing a lot, and yet it's also kind of hard when you look at how many other people are so good at the top of 3x3. And those guys like Dylan and like Jack are orders of magnitude, both more talented and more experienced than I am at cubing. And so what I've been saying is I will get to that level over the next 5 years, which means I have to be improving faster than those guys are because they have to catch up to them. But they're improving faster than I am still in terms of their skill and essentially the amount of work they're putting in. So I don't think, based on how fast I'm improving, I will actually catch up to them realistically. So I've noticed that I've been improving very slow. Also, because of boot camp and because of the people who've been in my comment section and stuff, I've had the opportunity to coach a few people. And I have coached people from slower than I am to faster than I am as I've been training. And it's like, if I have this knowledge and if I have this ability to communicate what I need to do and I'm working really hard on it and other people are improving notably faster than me, it just seems like I'm not progressing at a rate where my goals are going to happen. So I can either change what I'm doing or I can change the goal. More things I've noticed. The act of grinding does in fact get old. At the beginning of this journey, I was like, I love the feeling of sitting down with a cube and just solving. The grind itself is fun. I recognize that in life, a lot of goals are so good to achieve that the grind on the way to that goal is going to be hard, but it's worth pushing through the hardship because the goal is worth it. I'm okay to hate the grind if the payoff is good. But I've been realizing that I don't really think the payoff is going to come with cubing just because of my rate of improvement. So if I don't think I'm going to get the end result, would I at least enjoy the process? I don't think I would the way that I'm currently practicing. So slow improvement makes the ultimate outcome very unlikely. The process of grinding the way that I am right now is not energy positive. There are things about cubing that I'm good at, but they aren't the competing at a highest level thing. It's making content that people like to deeply watch. It's explaining high-level concepts, and it's meeting other cubers. The community content explaining part seems to be what I'm more naturally good at. And then the last thing I've noticed is that cubing is actually pulling me away from my higher priorities instead of augmenting and adding to them. So short version is, even if I were capable of a major 3x3 final, which I don't think I am at this point, given the level of competition there, the grind to get there isn't going to be worth it for me because I personally don't just love the process of solving a cube as much as I thought I did. I did not know this information when I started this process. It's only become clear as I've worked on it and gotten to know myself better, and the novelty of cubing has worn off a tiny bit. This isn't for everybody. I'm not saying this is how everybody should think about cubing. This is just true for me. So this is my mission statement. You don't have to agree with this or care about it, but this is what I have written down on my desk mat that I look at every day. And if I look at the priorities in my life, cubing should be at the bottom of this list. It should be a rest thing, and it should be a learn new things thing. Cubing can result in deep relationships, and cubing has already indirectly given me business opportunities because I'll tell people about what I'm doing with cubing, and they're like, man, this kid is interesting. I should hire him to work for me. So cubing does indirectly help me grow my business, and it does indirectly help me build deep relationships, and some within the community. But it should not be up here above business or above my marriage, right? But what's functionally been happening is the amount of time and energy I spend on cubing places it above business growth or above marriage in the way my life actually looks. Cubing has displaced my priorities instead of helping me do them better. That's not okay with me. I care more about my life mission than I care about cubing. And so cubing needs to serve this mission, not rewrite it. So the question that I have to answer, or I've had to answer over the last month, is how do I cube and make content in such a way that it lines up with my priorities instead of twisting my priorities out of shape? I think there are two parts of this. The first one is the community contribution and making content. The stuff that people seem to like on my channel are the long-form podcasts and me doing yaps about mindset or training well or stuff in the community. These are the things that people ask me for. Most people, I think, aren't coming to the channel because they're really, really invested in me getting to a final. They're coming because they enjoy the content. And the content is about other cubers, it's about me talking. And I also really enjoy being involved in the community. I'm about to go to the Cubicle for a week. I'm about to go be part of Ting Man Live. That's great. I want to stay involved with the community. So I think I'm going to keep making content with the same low edit, low production value, quote unquote. Keep making the podcast, keep doing documentation. I do think I should keep grinding, but I have to rearrange my goals so that it doesn't pull away from other priorities. It needs to make me better at business and being a husband, not pull from it. So that means that functionally I can't train for more than 90 minutes a day that's what I devote to fitness. And if I devote more than that to cubing, it becomes a ridiculously too large part of my life. So I think the best way to do this is work on all rounding for fun. Not because I think I'm going to be the best in the world at it, but because I really want to learn more events. And I think that that will also make for a more compelling viewer experience. So it blends both the grind that I enjoy and contributing to the community in a nice way. So what I'm going to start doing is just practice one event for 8 weeks, document what I learn and how I improve like I've been doing. I'm just going to record all of it, make a plan, get coaching on how to do it well, record the coaching sessions so you guys can see what it looks like for me to learn the event. And I can keep doing the intentional training style that I really enjoy. And it's going to be really fun because I'll see rapid improvement at the beginning of an event. I do not think I'm going to get really good at anything. 8 weeks is not enough to learn a major blind event. It's not enough to learn full NS. It's not enough to even learn full EG on 2x2. But it's enough to get to mid-intermediate, late intermediate, at most side events. So if I, let's say, practice square one for 8 weeks, I would not learn a giant alg set, but I would get serviceably good enough at the fundamentals to put up a decent average in competition, probably. And I could do that with 1 to 2 hours of training per day. I could do interviews with good square one solvers, I could document the stuff that I'm learning, and then I could make a really cool little tutorial video at the end of the 8 weeks talking about what I learned about square one and advice for people going from beginner to intermediate, and then leave it to the actual pros to educate you on the highest level concepts that I haven't implemented into my own solves. So theoretically, if I do this for 2 years, I'll be able to experience all the WCA events if I do 2-ish months of training per event with a few weeks of breaks around all of it. I don't know how I'm going to do this for the blindfolded events because 3 blind, 4 blind, 5 blind, multi-blind, they all have carryover. So I don't know if I should give 8 weeks to each of these or if I should organize that differently. Blind solvers, you can sound off in the comments. I'm not necessarily committing to doing this for 2 years. I know enough about myself that life will change a lot frequently. And so I'm not going to lock myself into saying I will do this for 2 years. This is what I would like to do. We'll see how it goes with one event. That's what I just said here. So if you have a specific event that you think I should train first, vote in the poll that I'm going to link in the description. I'm going to start the training in a week from today because this week I'm going to work on 5x5 and 3x3 for the competition. And then I will start training after that. So that's what I've been thinking. If you have questions or comments about all this, leave it down below. This is something that my wife and I have been talking about for like a month and a half or so. I started this channel because I thought it would be fun. I thought it would help me improve, and I've learned a lot about myself. I think that I made the right decision when I started this channel on what my goal was going to be and how I was going to train based on the information I had. And now that I've been working on it, I have more information about myself, about my goals, and about how I interact with cubing. So I think this is the right decision now, given the information that I have. So yeah, I don't know what people will think about it. I don't know if people are going to feel like I'm a quitter, if they are going to feel like I'm realigning with reality, but I think this is the right decision. And my wife certainly agrees, and it seems to line up with what my mission statement is and what some other people I respect in my personal life have counseled me as well. So yeah, hope that this video is enjoyable for someone and maybe make somebody else think about why they cube and what their life is about and for and all that. See you next week when I start training who knows what other event.